Last quick tip episode, we talked about not cropping in on your cell phone photos and just getting closer to get better quality shots. This episode, we're going to talk about horizons and grid lines within your cell phone. So we're going to talk about grid lines within our cell phone, and in a moment we're going to get into the options and the settings within our cell phone cameras to where we can set up our grid lines to make sure that our horizons are straight. Now, as you may have noticed here, there's a fence line behind my shoulder, and if you notice, it is straight. That is because I set up the grid lines in my camera that I'm using here. We can do the same thing on our cell phones. So let's just go ahead and see how this works out within the settings of our phone. Alright, here's my cell phone, and if you go open your cell phone and go to your camera, as we can see here on my main screen, go ahead and click camera. And on every camera on cell phones we have settings, and the settings are on the cog logo for Androids on the top right corner. So let's go ahead and click onto the cog on the top right corner. We're in portrait mode, so it'll be on the top right, but if we switch it out to landscape, it'll be on the top left. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and click that. And when we get into the settings, there's going to be a lot of settings and it can be confusing. You've got rear camera, front camera. Let's just scroll down and eventually see what we want to see. Whoops, let's get that back over here. Eventually you're going to see other ones. There's common, and then we have grid lines, and that's what we want. So let's go ahead and click grid lines. We have 3x3 and square. 3x3 is our tic-tac-toe grid lines, which is what we want for horizons, and square is to take pictures within the Instagram parameters for cropping later. So we've clicked the grid lines. Let's go back in the camera. Woohoo! We have grid lines. So when we're taking photos, we can align those grid lines with our horizon to make sure everything is flush, square, and straight. And they can also help with rule of thirds, which we'll get into in the next episode. Now we're ready to go and shoot straight horizons. So as you noticed, when we set up the grid lines on our cell phone, we can actually adjust our horizon to where everything is straight and is more appealing to the eye. Next episode, we're going to talk about rule of thirds. So stand by and stay tuned.